Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
This is Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while discussing daycare ratios and thinking way too much about hotel logistics. Welcome back, HBs. Okay, in order to do my due diligence, and I'm not super sure that I'm actually using that phrase accurately, but you get the picture. In order to do my due diligence, I gotta remind you one more time about sending in your embraces. Is it complete? Awesome! Is it not complete? Also awesome. Did you use readings from your Masters in Latin coursework? That has also happened IRL, and it was utterly amazing. Did you think about doing the embrace and then forget? Send us an email telling us that at heavingbosompodcast@gmail.com, and we will embrace you. It's an embrace, not a challenge. Okay, when we left off yesterday, Jacob Greenberg had decided to change his ways, grovel charmingly, and make things up to Rachel Rubenstein Goldblatt. That's where we're jumping in. So he's like, wow, what an idiot I am. I'm going to make it better. So the next day, two things happen. The first is that he sends her a superhero French personal assistant who is going to bully her way in incredibly politely and make all of Rachel's dreams come true. Yeah, Martha Poppins, she calls her. And then the other thing is that he goes to see his dad for the first time in 18 years.
What a piece of shit.
He's a super narcissist, a real shitty asshole. He's awful. Like, oh, why? Do you want a drink?
Wow,
like,
long time no see, buddy. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Want some scotch? We'll celebrate seeing each other again. And Jacob's basically like, how about you get fucked instead? Actually.
Yeah. If you don't have any answers for me, like, at least tell me, are those kids in the photo on your desk yours? And the dad has the audacity to be like, oh, that is offensive. Of course I don't. And he's just like, what are you talking about? You're a monster. Also call your mom. And he leaves. And he's like, that door is closed. Like, I slayed that dragon from my past. Cool. And she, meanwhile, is really fighting against Martha Poppins, but also realizing that, like, she's getting so many energy pennies from what Martha is doing.
Well, because Martha's doing all of the things, like, because, like, it's too much to get up and heat up soup on the stove.
Yeah.
And so, like, Martha's doing that.
So she would be trying to recover without eating, you know? Like, there's really tangible reasons that Martha is very, very helpful.
Well, yeah, because as Rachel would usually be trying to refill her cup, there's a leak in the bottom of it, because every single fucking thing that she would do to make herself feel better would be stabbing another hole in the bottom of the cup.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So she's able to refill for the first time in her life, basically.
I mean, she's truly able to rest for the first time.
Yes.
So Mickey comes over and he's like, I'm sorry. He's gone above and beyond and he's apologized 82 times and all the business, and you are not going to marry him tomorrow?
Hey, Mel.
Yeah.
Mickey should have said something earlier than this, huh?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, what, 15 years ago? Question mark? We find out in this discussion, right, that Mickey's No. We find out at some point.
Not yet.
That Mickey's the one who told all the boys and set her up for the prank.
Because
not
he felt like he was losing her at summer camp.
I mean, he was 12.
And hey, yeah, I get it. But like, you don't hold on to that for 18 years. When she has been holding on to this the way that she has, you don't like hold on to that for 18 years without telling her. Because in his head, it just never came up and Jacob disappeared. And so he was like, well, I didn't want to rock the boat, basically. Melody, if I found something out like this might be the end of a friendship.
Mm-hmm. She's real cool about it. It's wild.
And it's one thing, like, there's lots of stuff that people kept when we were 12 years old, right? That's not the issue. This is the fact that this clearly still affects her on a deep level. And then he, at the very least, he should have said it earlier in this book. Like, I would struggle to trust a friend like Mickey again.
Well, I mean, he should have told her at the very least when he found out that Jacob Greenberg was going to be at Shabbat dinner.
Yeah, right.
Because he carries on the ruse of like, oh, wow, that traitor awful man, the guy who ruined your life at 12.
Who fucked you over at camp.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mickey.
So then 2 other things happen. He sends her a dress that's like gorgeous. And he's like, will you be my date to the matzo
Princess ball gown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Circle yes or no. And then later on, he shows up with a bedazzled wheelchair and asks her to go to the Empire State Building with him.
But very importantly there is he shows up and he doesn't have the wheelchair. And he asks her to go to the Empire State Building. And she's like, 1, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust you. I don't like you. And 2, I literally cannot. And so he whips out this wheelchair. And we have this moment from her point of view where she's like, oh my God, this man is just unapologetically him. Like, he does not care what anybody thinks about it. And she takes it at one point. She gets this thing in her head of like, you're doing this out of pity because your mom and your history with your mom, you want to pity date me. That's fucked up, dude.
You want to open my horizons because my world is so much smaller than yours.
Yeah. And so she's like, no, I'm not going, and shuts the door on him. And then she has that talk with Mickey. Then she finds out all of the stuff about the truth and all of these things. And then she shows up to help. Yeah. She shows back up after like 3 or 4 days to continue volunteering because she has decided that now that Mickey has confessed all of this, oh, Jacob actually does deserve a second chance because he didn't fuck me over at 12 years old.
Well, and he did a really good grovel over the past few days. Like, he did an acts of service above and beyond to make up for this matzo ball bullshit, right?
And it's clear that he means it.
Yes.
He means all of it. And also that he the most important part is that he accepts her, and her chronic illness is not a deal breaker the way that
not at all. And she knows that he has experience with living with someone who had a chronic illness because his mom had MS. So he's going into this with eyes open and still is communicating that he is interested. So she shows up at the matzo ball and she's like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to do whatever you need. And he's like, okay, because everything's in shambles. All right. The menorah is still broken in 12,000 pieces. Nobody knows how to put it together. The tinsel is shit.
Cheap.
The dreidels are crap. Like the twinkly lights aren't twinkling. There's no decorations really that's doing anything.
This seems like literally anything that you would see at a Jewish community center party.
Sure.
Like, this is not the high-end, beautiful event gala that it's supposed to be. And she's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take over here. You go get me a coffee. You two check out for the day. I will see you tomorrow. He does. He does the coffee. And then he leaves.
He trusts her. And his whole thing is, this is the girl who stranded me in the middle of a camp dance floor holding a bouquet of wildflowers. Am I going to trust her to show up for me now? And he makes the concerted effort and the very clear decision to like, yes, I am going to trust her now. And then she pulls off what his partner Shmuel calls a Hanukkah miracle.
He shows up the next day and it is night and day. It is beautiful. There's no longer cheap plastic dreidels all over. She has literally gotten acrobats to be the quote
the
unquote
dreidel.
dreidels from the ceiling. There's stars on the ceiling that are like projected. There's the twinkly lights are twinkling.
Fabric everywhere.
As she stated, she said that she brought Christmas, the magic that she loves about Christmas and all of those things. She's like, why can't it be Hanukkah? And so she took that magic that she's always been seeking
and pumping into her romance novels, and is putting it into this event. Here's the thing. I had a bit of a hard time with this because it did seem like, I mean, she has to rewrite the entire menu, and it wasn't clear, like, where the tuna tartare came from. Was that already going to be at the event and she just repurposed it? Or, like, what is the deal here?
Melody, do you want to know what one of the things that fascinates me about you?
Sure. Okay.
The things that you do and do not choose. The whimsy.
Interesting.
The fact that you're like, this tracks, this ballroom definitely, it is capable of having 4 people hanging from it by silks as dreidels out of nowhere.
Look, a professional acrobat walked onto the page. He looked at the ceiling and he said, yeah, it can work with the right equipment. Let me make a few calls. She says, how long will it take? He says 10 hours. She says, can you do it in 5? He says, we'll try. So, like, that explains to me Acrobat has it. Acrobat is doing it. Acrobat knows.
Acrobat is not structural engineer.
Yeah, but Acrobat has the equipment that he set up elsewhere.
Okay. Anyway.
Look, I don't know. Look, Acrobat told me to my face.
You don't know. That's it. That's it.
Right. That's right. I don't know.
You don't need to know about the tuna tartare, my love.
But I do, because Acrobat is doing a favor, and they said specifically that, like, they don't have 10 million. There's no more money in the bank. So, like, if, like, you changing a catering menu, especially at a high-end hotel, I think part of it is because I have hotel booking experience, especially because they need kosher food. That has to be prepared at a very special, like, kitchen situation. I used to book events for Jewish celebrations and bat mitzvahs and whatever. And so if you're bringing kosher food in, you have to get, like, specific permission from the hotel to not use their food and beverage, because you have to have, it has to be made on kosher equipment, right? Yeah. And, like, that changes the entire pricing structure. Like, there's a lot of logistics that go into this that doesn't make any sense. And, like, look, the silk, I had a feeling that they got it from, like, 4 different local temples. You know what I mean? That's stuff that people could have on hand.
What about Shmuel saying it's a Hanukkah miracle? Do you not understand?
Okay, you're right. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, but here's the thing, listener. She says that, like, she has made this new revamped menu. It's Latka's 8 ways.
Latka 8 ways. Mm-hmm.
And so she has made a bunch of them for the catering company to copy the next day for the event. So I'm wondering if, like, tuna tartare was already on the menu, but, like, in a lettuce wrap or something, and instead they're going to put it on a latke. This is what I'm, like, do they already have it? Are they already contracted to have these things? Or is it not?
Food logistics, specifically hotelier food logistics with Melody.
Hotel events with Melody.
Listener, this will not be on the Embrace next year. Just see.
Anyway, she also comes up with, like, a couple of special Hanukkah cocktails, and she flubs over why she did it for a Christmas thing that wasn't a Christmas thing. It was a different Jewish holiday, but not that Jewish holiday, a different one. Like, she can't lie about this either.
Too.
Yeah.
And also, like, buddy, you're doing the lie thing where you're over-explaining to the point where it's fucking you over. Because, like, you literally could have said, yeah, I saw this thing on Pinterest that seemed kind of cool. And I was like, I could make that Hanukkah.
Yeah. And, like, also, he has already told her that he went to private Catholic school for all of high school. So, like, I don't think he's going to judge you for a love of Christmas. Like, he's the last Jewish person.
It is very clear this entire book that he will not give a fuck
about
her love of Christmas.
He will think it's charming, is what he will do.
Well, and on top of that, she's making it out like, and I understand that, like, she, with her family, it is a big thing. Like, it is very clear from things that her father has said when she tried to broach this 8 years ago or whatever. And, like, his reaction to Jewish people that
like compose Christmas music or whatever
with Christmas on that kind of level. Whereas Mickey spends Christmas with, Mickey's also Jewish, and he spends Christmas with all of his Christian
extended family,
non-Jewish family and stuff like that. Like, this is,
he's got Gentiles in his family tree.
There's a very specific flavor of Jewish that is going to hate you for having anything to do with Christmas. It is not Jacob Greenberg. That's not the one. You know,
he is not in that Venn diagram. He's so far away from it. That Venn diagram doesn't know he exists.
Yeah, like it's already clear in this, but you've witnessed him be not super strict.
He didn't know that showering on Shabbat was like looked down on by some people because of the use of the water heater. You know?
And, like, even if he did, like, she doesn't witness this, but, like, he's pulling out his phone on Shabbat before he's like, oh, wait, Shmuel is somebody who takes
he
Shabbat
observes
very seriously. Like, it is so,
Rachel, but what is really beautiful about this Hanukkah miracle is that what she did last night when he got her coffee is get the summer camp phone tree started. And a bunch of their group that they knew from summer camp that she's known for the rest of her life have shown up for him because they figured out that, like, he was in trouble. They want to help. So they've got, like, people with all the different backgrounds there to do so many different things at the event. And that is why the matzo ball is now going to be high end and beautiful and whatever, right?
And then very importantly is they're having this moment, and she is the one who is fixing the last tiny bit of the menorah, and he's helping to make sure she doesn't fall down the ladder, and they're both up at the top of it.
And so he does a Brazilian butt grab.
What the fuck kind of dangerous assholes are you people friends with? Because they're on top next to this half-broken menorah that is hanging on by literally duct tape.
Yes.
Behind the scenes. And like a couple of important brackets.
They
are on a ladder. And then their friends shut off all of the lights, sing some song about, like,
it's like a Jewish matrimony song.
Yeah, like for people who are either about to get married or just got married, like, kind of thing. And they do that and then disappear and turn on all of the lights again. In what world is that safe? It's not. The answer is it's not.
Especially when one of the people has been sitting in a bedazzled wheelchair for most of the day.
The whole day.
And also, and like, he's so proud of her because he's like, she doesn't tell people about her illness, but she's still like doing what she has to do to make this thing go for me. Like, this is a huge thing. There are so many different ways that she's showing up for him. So anyway, he's like, how about I take you to the best arugula spot in the entire city as a thank you? And she's like, great. And then she's so excited because he turns her up at Bubby's house. And they have the best arugula ever.
Well, also, hang on, though. Before they even leave, though, they get down from these. This was very out of left field for me. I'm going to blame this on, not blame it, but I'm going to chalk this up to there's been a lot of discussion of Bashert.
Yeah, being Bashert.
Bashert. And which is like one's predestined soulmate, essentially, as far as
your fated person.
Yes. And so there has been a lot of talk about, like, behind the scenes that he is her, she is his, etc. They get down off
they
of
are
this thing,
Bashert, yeah.
And he doesn't understand why their friends thought this was so funny to do the thing, this prank thing. And she's like, and then she explains it to him, and he's like, well, I mean, they're not wrong. We're getting married next year.
Yeah, we're getting married someday.
Like, what?
Jacob?
And like her reaction is,
aw.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Sounds great. And then they go to get burglar with Bubby.
With Toby, his bubby.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, wow, this is incredible. And then he's like, let me walk you home. And she's like, it's 90 blocks away minimum. And he's like, I don't care. This is what we're doing. And so then they like get on the subway. Oh, also, there was the spirit of Hanukkah. Earlier in the book, we forgot to tell you, listener, she was on the subway to go to Shabbat dinner. And suddenly an old Orthodox Jewish man appeared on the subway out of nowhere with the newspaper. And then he disappeared and dropped the newspaper. And so she picked up the newspaper. That's where she got the idea to go to the Matzah ball. And that's what kicked this whole thing off. So I do need to know that there is a spirit of Hanukkah element to this book, too. Sorry. It was just very important to me since we talk about like the Christmas crone and stuff in other holiday stuff.
I did make that note. I was like, hey, we just saw the Hanukkah crone.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, he walks her home and she's running and skipping and like high on life.
Giddy.
Yes.
And sugar. Specifically, explicitly, she is on having a sugar rush.
Yeah.
And so they get there and she's like, have you lit your candles for the day? And it's like, obviously he hasn't. He's been with you all evening. And so she invites him up to light the menorah with her.
And don't they kiss before this? I'm pretty sure they kiss before they go up.
So before that, they almost kiss. And then she stops it and they have their little moment of confessing everything about what happened at summer camp.
Yes.
And explaining their sides of it. And so he opens up about his childhood. She opens up about thinking that he was playing a prank on her. And they have this whole thing. And then he looks at her. Oh, he looks at her and he says, well, Rachel, let me alleviate any concerns you have about that summer. I liked you. I liked you a lot. It's a shame you stood me up at the final dance because had you shown up, I would have been waiting for you with a bouquet of wildflowers. I would have asked you to be my permanent and full-time girlfriend.
Oh my God.
And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, But now, and given everything that happened between us, I'm afraid we'll just have to jump right into marriage. There's no other option.
That's right.
I'll speak with your parents tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't trust you not to disappear on me again. She's like, Jacob Greenberg, you are so weird. And he says, true, but we'll have the rest of our life to work out our version of normal.
Oh.
Which was so cute.
So gorgeous.
And so then they have their kiss and it's adorable because she just smooches him. And it's wonderful on the on the doorstep. And then they go up and she's like, let me get changed real quick because after today, I'm a mess. And then, listener, we did not explain to you something very important. You remember the
something
room of,
unhinged,
Christmas vomited
Sabrina.
All over it?
Also, we forgot to tell everybody that it's not only unhinged and she doesn't want anybody in there, but it doesn't have a lock on the door. Carry on.
No, it does have a lock.
She just doesn't lock it?
I suspect so
that's a wild choice.
My explanation, because I went back and checked all of these things so Martha Poppins asks about the locked room that noises come from once an hour. I suspect what happened is Martha Poppins informs Rachel that they all have NDAs signed. Anyone who comes into her apartment for help with all of these things have NDAs signed. And so anything that they see in that apartment is private. I think what happened is she unlocked the room so that they could get in and out of there for like cleaning and like tidying and stuff like that. And then it just never got locked back up, which wasn't that big of a deal because all of these NDA people were the only ones in the apartment and her and Mickey, who already knows everything.
Okay. All right. Fair.
So then
wait, but explain
this room.
Yeah, I interrupted you.
Listener, she has no less than 250 tiny Santa figurines lining all of the walls. She has a train, a little Christmas train that every hour on the hour travels around her little office to all of her little Christmas villages and goes chugga 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 choo choo choo. Plays Christmas music, all sorts of things. Like, it is a Christmas winter wonderland in that office.
It's a Macy's window. That's bananas.
That's where the most bananas part is this is where she works. This is her workspace. I'm
that
too.
would
I
would
am
jump out of my
entirely too
skin.
ADHD for this.
Yeah.
My God.
Plus, like, if I was hyper focused on something and that train started up, I would jump into the roof.
Oh my God, yeah.
I would be so scared.
Yeah. So he is getting ready to set up the menorah, and here's the little choo-choo and then Christmas music playing. And he's like, oh, that's weird. And at first he's like, maybe it's coming from outside the window. The answer's no.
He finds her room. He goes in there.
And he thinks it's amazing. Because at first he's like, oh, she's obsessed with Margot Cross. And then he realizes, oh, she is Margot Cross because there's like writing awards. And he's like, but legitimately at first he's like,
I love this.
Oh, she stole those awards. From
Does she have Margot Cross tied up in a basement somewhere?
And then he realizes, oh, no, the obvious thing is that she's Margot Cross.
This is how she pays for this apartment.
And then he sits down. Do not fucking sit at my desk and read the shit that's on my desk. He takes a sit at her desk and he picks up the manuscript. He's like, oh, I'll have to read some Margot Cross. Let me start with this unedited manuscript that's sitting on this desk.
Called the Hanukkah Grinch.
And he picks up the Hanukkah Grinch. She's a flutter. She's so excited. And she comes out of her room and realizes that he's in that office. And she goes in there and
she's like, I can explain. And he's not mad about the Margot Cross of it all. He's mad about the fact that she was using him, and the reason she wanted the matzo ball ticket was to get inspiration for this new book, and all of the shitty things that her main character, the dude, and it's exactly him. Like he's like, you're writing a book about me. And she's like, no, let me explain. And he's like, there's not much to explain. This is me. And you're saying really mean things about me.
And then he's just like, admit you're Margot Cross. And she's like, I'm not Margot Cross, ma'am. You just got caught with your hand in the cookie tin. Like,
you just got caught sitting in a bathtub of cookie crumbs. Like it is past. This is, we're farther than this, ma'am. All right. You've got chocolate smeared all over your face. Like,
and he's like, basically he's like, I just need you to tell me the truth one fucking time. I need you to admit one freaking thing to me.
One real thing.
And she doesn't. And he's like, all right, I'm done. And he just leaves.
He says goodbye.
Which, like, you know what? Fair.
Yeah. Okay, so now it gets extra crazy.
It's matzo ball time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see him. He's at the matzo ball. We're learning all about all of the, like, what's going on, how it's going, whatever. From her side of things, she is distraught and drunk.
Yes.
This woman sobers up faster than I've ever seen anybody because Bubby shows up. And she's also drunkenly wearing the dress.
Yeah.
And some pink fuzzy socks, and she looks a hot mess. And Bubby shows up, and Bubby is basically like, hey,
you should fight for him.
Yeah.
Wow. Bubby is a Holocaust survivor. And she tells Rachel that she wants her to have these earrings, and they were her one keepsake from the Holocaust and like her family. And Rachel's like, oh my gosh, I cannot possibly. They're so expensive. Like these jewels are insane. And she goes, no, these jewels are cut glass. My husband replaced all of them because these are the way I stayed alive crossing Europe by myself as an 8-year-old. And so she tells this whole story of resilience and survival, and everyone's crying.
I was crying like a little baby.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful scene. I'm not going to do it justice. So, like, really read the book. It's fucking gorgeous. And by the end of it, she's like, I want you to wear these earrings and go fight for Jacob. Because I think he's your Beshert, essentially. And so she gets this whole pep talk from Bubby, puts on those earrings, puts on some sneakers, and runs her happy ass down to the matzo ball. So she's a hot mess, okay? I'm sure she's got mascara everywhere from the drunken crying.
There's no way she has makeup on at all, period. But she definitely has
then she's
red
puffy.
eyes
Yeah.
from sobbing.
Yeah.
She gets there, and for good reason. The security, because this is a red carpet event. There are dignitaries here. There's royalty. There's celebrities. This is like red carpet who's who of Hanukkah matzo ball event, gala events. And the security guard is like, I'm not letting you in. She's like, but I know Jacob Greenberg. And he's like, You might have gone through his trash last night. Like, that's not... And then it doesn't help that straight up, she walks away from him, can't get in another way because she misses grabbing onto her parents. And then the security guard does come around a corner and witness her crawling her happy, still a little drunk ass up a fire escape into this hotel.
Up to the 4th floor.
I have a couple of questions for you, Melody.
No, this is something you can't actually think about.
The fact that the hotel is apparently entirely shut down for this event, like...
I mean, that's definitely part of it, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so he does, in the book's defense, it does say that if this doesn't go well, he is ruined. You know? Like, I really think that he might have put a whole $10 million into this thing.
This is, again, where I don't understand the business side of this and how money...
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
Nah.
So anyway,
let's just say they're laundering it. You know what I mean?
She's.
Let's just decide.
Let's just
decide that we'll never know. We'll never know how it works.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, she ends up making it there. Her parents are there, and they are on their way up the stairs to light that thing. And then she comes running onto the stage in front of everybody, and she's like, "Jacob, don't let them take me!"
Yeah, because the head security guard is right there.
To tackle her.
Everybody's got a taser out. Okay, everybody's about to tase her into the ground. She's about to pee in front of an entire ballroom of people.
Looks
absolutely
like
she's a murder stalker. No, she boiled somebody's bunny yesterday. You know, like she looks unhinged. And so, but she does this big declaration, and she comes out as Margot Cross. She's like, nothing in my life is real and worth it until you came back into it. I'm in love with you. I want to build a life with you. We're beshert. And like, please tell me you feel the same. And luckily, he does.
Well, he doesn't say anything. And she gives him, but listener, she gives him roughly 1.3 milliseconds to answer before she's like, well, obviously,
and then she launches herself off the stage.
And she's like making her way across the ballroom. And then he's like, wait, you don't get to leave me at a dance again.
Yeah.
I love you. We're going to be together forever. And
we're doing a big makeout in front of all the social media cameras.
And we can hear her parents because the whole thing is mic'd. And her dad is like, what just happened? And her mom's like, oh, she just told everybody that she's a 20-time best-selling Christmas author. And he's like, I thought we knew that.
And her mom's like, yeah, we have known that.
We did.
But she told us this time.
But she told God, what a slap in the face.
They've been secretly proud of her the whole fucking time.
On one hand, very cute. On the other hand, you should have said something.
Just put me out of my misery.
She's clearly
drop some
struggling.
hints.
Yeah, like she's not okay.
Let her find some tinsel
secrets
around your house and see if she'll come ask you about it or something.
Or just, I don't know, make it clear that you don't think that she's the spawn of Satan for...
Have some Margot Cross books out that are obviously lovingly read, you know? Have that,
or make a comment about how somebody at temple has been reading a Margot Cross lately.
Yeah.
There's so many little things that they could have done to make it clear that she could have...
And they just let her stew. Ooh, she stewed in it.
So it's happily ever after, listener.
She cancels Hanukkah Grinch. She's like, my career is over. I have no plans, and I may never write again. But then the epilogue is her turning in the manuscript for the matzo ball. And they live together and also apart. They're long distance some of the time.
Mm-hmm. And after the wedding, he's moving from Paris back to New York.
That's the one.
And
they're going to have so many dogs and a bunch of nannies. And he wants 4 kids, which I think, you should really temper your expectations.
Start with one.
Yep. Let's just start with one and see how it goes. That's for everybody. That's not because she has like CFS or whatever.
No, it's not at all. But like on top of that, your soon-to-be wife does have a chronic illness.
Yeah, and you want to know what's
children are a lot.
The most tiring thing in the whole wide world?
Children.
Yeah, and especially a newborn. Like,
as stated though, they are going to have like
18
8
nannies.
nannies.
Yeah.
So like they're going to be fine because like they're going to be fine.
They're going to be fine. It's happily ever after, everybody. And she's fixing all of his events going forward. I'm sure of it. She's bringing the magic to all of his events.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ugh.
After she single-handedly saved the matzo ball because it was trending on social media as of her unhinged arrival.
Display.
How do you top
it's
that?
everywhere.
The answer
it's everywhere. Yeah. She goes mega viral. That was
definitely a one and a done.
Yes. Forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
wonderful.
Yeah, now she's going to publish the matzo ball under Rachel Rubenstein Goldblatt. Greenberg. ? Listen, we don't know how she's going to run that.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
So, wow. This was a super fun book. The voice was awesome.
It was very, listener, we did not give the
just outlandish enough. Yeah, no, we didn't.
In this book, we couldn't, but like, oh my God, this was a very funny book. I was laughing out loud quite often. And then the author's note at the very end that Gene Meltzer wrote was like really thoughtful and touching and beautiful to read.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, Melody.
I really loved it. Okay.
What's your lady
Sabrina,
love?
what's your lady love?
Nope. No.
I really tried.
No.
Okay.
Do you know what it is? If you don't know what it is, I can go.
I do. No, I do. My lady love is maybe think about rearranging your space a tiny bit. Okay? So I did a couple of things in my office. One, I moved my desk, and so now I'm facing a completely different direction, and it's a lot easier to like get in and out of the space. I have more room for my plants, which is obviously the most important consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing I did is I swapped my booth chair from this one that was totally workable but did hurt my whole body after sitting in it for a while to a chair that we had down in the basement, and it's so much more comfy. And if you're feeling a little stuck, especially going into the new year, the Western New Year, maybe think about rearranging something, moving some shit around. It's given me a whole different perspective.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm also a pro when it comes to like if you need a change, do a little rearrange.
Yeah. Yeah. If you need a change, do a little rearrange.
Wow. That was a nice little
Sabrina, what's your lady love?
My lady love is I was just scrolling on the social medias the other day, and I found my lady love, which is resolutions. New Year's resolutions don't have to suck.
Okay.
I had never really registered this, but it's true. Everyone does like New Year's resolutions of like, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna blah blah blah, and like I have definitely been that person that falls into that trap because that arbitrary flip over from December to January, it feels like a fresh start kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to fucking suck. I came across this post and it was like, every time I ask people if they do any New Year's resolutions, and it's all, ooh, I don't like making them because I fail, or, oh, no, I couldn't keep up with that. And then they ask me, and I tell them about Pasta Quest, where I'm eating as many different pasta shapes as possible in the space of a year. Or when I did fruit adventures, every time I saw a fruit I had never eaten before, I'd get one and eat it, and read the Wikipedia article about it. And then it's just a bunch of screenshots of people and some of their whatever resolutions, like this one. Roommate's bestie's New Year's resolution was to be cozier. So she got a new bed and rearranged her room. 1 year, somebody did a sneeze count. Apparently, they sneezed 1,072 times in 2022. Eat more pickled items. Look at clouds every day and find a picture. Picture in the clouds every day that there are clouds. There's so many different things that it could be. New Year's resolutions don't have to fucking suck. And so I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. The New Year's for us is in a couple of weeks, but as of this episode is in
tomorrow,
48 hours or something like that. And I don't know. I haven't decided what it's going to be, but it's going to be a fun one. I do like Pasta Quest.
Pasta Quest is great.
That person who said Pasta Quest, like I could order 52 different kinds of pasta online. And I do love a pasta. And I could get them in so many shapes. I bet there's probably smut-themed pasta. Like,
oh, there's definitely dick-themed pasta.
Oh, I know
and
for a fact that there's dick
pasta, for sure.
And vagina and like boob pasta. So I think I do like Pasta Quest quite a bit. I might have to give Pasta Quest a shot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
what
that's
if we
my
did,
lady
like,
love is
I'm
New Year's
gonna make
resolutions
dessert
don't have to
pizza.
suck. I'm conflicted on that because I've had cookie pizza and I don't know.
I mean pizza. I mean, like, use my pizza dough recipe, but then put a bunch of sweets on it.
Have you never had cookie pizza? I don't know why I'm saying that like I'm shocked. I'd never had it. Apparently it's very common here in Southeast Arkansas. Everybody fucking knows what.
That was one of my mom's
pizza.
specialties when we had a pizza place. But hers was a cookie.
No, this is pizza dough.
Okay.
With cookie on top of that and then icing.
Oh.
It's
That
weird.
seems weird.
People here fucking love it. And I can't get behind it. I
like
do
cookie
like
crumble? Or like cookie dough?
It's like you take a cookie
dough on top of dough.
and you smush it onto the pizza dough. And then it's slices of pizza, but it's not pizza stuff on top of the pizza dough. It is cookie and icing.
Okay. Wow. Takes all kinds. Row many boats.
Takes all kinds.
Yeah.
So that's my lady love. What it boils down to is New Year's resolutions don't have to suck. Do something
I love
fun.
it. I love it.
Man,
yeah.
I think I may have convinced myself to do Pasta Quest.
I think it's really good.
I do. I could, if I order it now, I could have some here in time to start Pasta
to really
Quest
start just
on like
tearing it up.
the first day of the new year.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be something I just do on Wednesdays.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Anyway. All right, listener.
Keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love. Gosh, throwing the torture device that your crush used on you over a balcony, like she does during her caper to get to that stage. She does a distraction by throwing the matzo ball costume off of a balcony.
I was going to say love yourself as much as you love breaking into a fancy hotel.
Yeah.
You know what? No. Listener,
scratch it.
Keep being a badass and love yourself as much as Bubby loves traveling and just living her absolute best life.
And arugula.
Oh my God. I'm going to go eat something now. I'm starving.
Okay, bye. After
we talk about this. Bye.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week on Monday, and we can't wait. See you then. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you next week.